The biggest issue before the 2019 Montana legislature, Medicaid expansion. It's had its first committee hearing today in Helena. Hundreds of people showed up at the Capitol both for the day-long hearing and a pro-Medicaid rally. KPAX's Mike Dennison was there and he files this report.
The crowd started gathering early for Saturday's dual hearing before the House Human Services Committee on the two competing bills that would continue Medicaid expansion. The $750 million a year program that provides government-funded health coverage to nearly 100,000 low-income adults in Montana. First up was House Bill 425, which extends the coverage with few changes. The sponsor, Democratic State Representative Mary CAFERRO of Helena, began her testimony by acknowledging the huge crowd in favor and talking about the three-year-old program's success in bringing health coverage to thousands of poor Montanans.
We, in 2015, passed a monumental piece of legislation that has created better health outcomes all over the state, rural and urban.
More than 4 hours later, the panel began its hearing on House Bill 658, the Republican alternative from Representative Ed Buttrey of Great Falls, who sponsored the original bill in 2015. Buttrey said the program has done much good, but that his bill will improve it for enrollees and the taxpayers paying the tab.
That we can get more people self-sufficient, that we can create more jobs, and we can do so in a way that applies and assures to the taxpayers of Montana that their money is being spent in the most responsible way possible.
The Buttrey bill would require many program participants to log 20 hours of community engagement, which is a job or other activities. Most people came to Helena to support CAFERRO's bill and Medicaid expansion. Native Americans said it's been a huge boon for health care on Indian reservations, enabling tribes to expand services and offer prevention instead of just treating symptoms.
It has done wonders, and it's more than just Indian country. These are your most sensitive population. These are your most vulnerable people in your guys' district that this affects.
Dentist JOANNA WALEY of Livingston said the dental coverage has helped scores of people who previously couldn't afford care to get things like dentures.
Without teeth, people are relegated to backroom stocking, dishwashing, or simple unemployment. It is hard to get a job if you do not have front teeth.
But many of those for CAFERRO's bill oppose the Buttrey bill, saying its additional requirements would end up disqualifying thousands of people.
Community engagement or work requirement will be an artificial barrier to health coverage that will cause people to lose coverage, not because they don't want to work, but because it is so administratively complex to get through there. Some people will throw up their hands and give up.
And there were those who opposed the entire program, calling it socialism and saying the country can't afford it.
We're really adopting a socialist-type program. That there's one thing that's very interesting about socialism is that it's never succeeded. All we have to do is look at Greece and then recently Venezuela.
I don't know if any minds were changed Saturday by the testimony we heard, but if one thing was made clear, it's that Medicaid expansion has had a huge impact on the healthcare landscape of Montana. Now it's up to the committee and the rest of the legislature to decide what the program may look like in the future. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN.